and they kind of showed what we were doing. They interviewed me, and they showed off the strategy that I'm going to be showing you, because we're making so much money and doing so well and being so profitable with our Facebook ads that they actually wanted to display that on their Facebook success stories. So that's kind of cool. Now, let's talk about what happened. Well, in 2015, my stores did $3 million in revenue. January 1st to December 31st, 2015, I did $3 million on this store. I did $17.269 million in revenue, January 1st to December 31st, 2016. And what I want to show you and talk to you about is what I discovered as a business owner, what I figured out that was able to let me do that. Now, if we take a little bit of a closer look here, you can see that 2015, we were doing a couple $100,000 a month. Towards the end of the year, we kind of started to figure this out, started to make a little bit more money, had a big sale at the end, ran our big holiday sale, and made around $1 million in 1 month. That was our first ever $1 million month there, November of 2015, in any of our businesses. And then in 2016, you can see that we were really pretty consistent at $1.5 million, about $1.43 million a month. And we almost made $2 million in December of 2016. That we were just like 6 days out of that month. So when we look a little closer, we can kind of see that our advertising strategy and what we figured out in relationship to how to leverage advertising in our business was effective. It's a 5.8x increase. So we were able to grow our business in 1 year 5.8 times, which is pretty amazing. So 2015 total, if you look at all my businesses, and I want to give you these statistics, and you're going to see this, like what I like to do is look at statistics and look at data and then leverage that data for the best benefit possible. And so I'm giving you some data before I get into the training, because it'll give you context for what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, in 2015, all my businesses, that was just one store, did $7 million. And this was the breakdown. Be Friendly, which is one of my skincare brands, did about $1.2 million. Smart Marketer, which is the brand that you're engaging with right now. It's the brand that you're watching this training on. That's an information publishing brand. Did about $2.2 million. And as I said, Boom did around $3 million, a little bit over $3 million. So it was $7 million total. Zipify didn't yet exist. Now, in 2016, as an overall company, we did $22 million. So when you look at us, not just in that one brand brand grew by about 6x, but as a total overall company, we grew by about 3.2x. And the way that broke down in 2016 was Be Friendly did about 1.5 million, Smart Marketer did about 3.5 million, and Boom did 17.3 million. So that's come down. And Zipify would happen, like how did we go through and achieve that level of growth on one of our brands and achieve growth with every single one of our brands? Every brand we have achieved growth between 2015 and 2016. And it was something that we figured out that made that happen. And we think that actually we're going to be able to do something quite similar between 2016 and 2017, leveraging this same principle. And that's what I want to share with you on this training tonight. Now, this is kind of the inside scoop. I really don't want you to go out and share this. I want you to use this for your team and your team alone. You found me. You're one of my subscribers. You're one of my people. I love this stuff. I love this community. This is a big part of what we do. Mainly what we do is e-commerce, but a big part of what we do is education and training and coaching and events. And we just, I love this stuff, and I really want you to use it. And so it's not to be shared outside of, non-Smart Marketer subscribers. So you're one of my subscribers. You're on in my community. I would love for you to use this. I'd love for you to not share it with anyone else. And what I'm going to do is show you my sales funnel and my ad strategy that's making me on average $1.43 million a month. And I hope that you and use it in your business. Like, seriously, that's what I want you to do. I want you to actually copy this and use it in your business. Now, my motto for Smart Marketer is serve the world unselfishly, profit. Serve the world unselfishly and profit, because my viewpoint is that you can't really profit, really in the true sense of the word, unless you're in a role of service. And this training is a demonstration of that motto, because I'm going to offer you at the end of this some in-depth training. I'm going to offer you a way to go even deeper with me and train with me. There's only so much I can cover in 2 hours. I can cover a lot, and I can give you some really awesome tips that are going to help you grow your business. I'm going to give you an opportunity to train even deeper with me at the end of this. You don't have to take it. Totally cool if you don't. I'm going to serve you on this training call, and then I'm going to offer you something. So just know that that is coming. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ezra. I'm an e-commerce expert. I do this stuff. I'm widely recognized as one of the world's leading educators in e-commerce. Now, that is not to say I'm the best out there. I'm like one of the only people who will really, really transparently share what's going on in my business because I have an abundance mindset and I'm confident in my ability to market and grow my brand. So I'm totally happy to show you what I'm doing. So I think there's a lot of people doing a lot of really great stuff. I don't think I'm the only guy doing cool stuff. I just think that I'm really unusually willing to share what I'm doing. And I think you will find that as we go down the training tonight. So it helps to look at where we are in the world of e-commerce before we talk about the technical and tactical strategies of how you're going to leverage video advertising to grow your business and Facebook advertising to grow your business. It makes sense to kind of and know where we are in the world of e-commerce. So a few years after I got started in the game in 2005. That's when I started doing e-commerce. This is my finishing of my 11th year in this business. I came straight out of high school and I've just done this ever since. I didn't go to college. This has been like what I've done with my work life. And graph here is starting in 2010. So in 2010, which is a good 5 years after I started, 4.2%, this number right here, of all transactions that happen in America were happening online. So of like the, bag of chips you buy down at the grocery store to the thing you order on Amazon, of all of those transactions, 4 out of every 100. Now, fast forward to Q3 of 2016, which is what we just passed, and 8.4% of all transactions were happening online. So that doubled. We doubled between 2010 and 2016 as far as online transactions. Look at this growth curve. Now take a look at this. This is where we're headed. We're headed to, by 2021, it's projected that double again. I mean, look at Cyber Monday sales. Look at it. It's incredible how big Cyber Monday just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's incredible. And part of the reason for that is that the millennial generation, which is my generation, is coming into their prime spending, driving the economy. And we grew up with the internet and with e-commerce, so there's no technology adoption curve for us. Part of that is mobile phones, that's my wife, by the way. She's beautiful and awesome. And none of this would be possible without her. But mobile phones, right? So people are connected to the digital medium throughout their daily life so they can have shopping experiences. And we'll be talking about that. So it's a really, really good time to be in e-commerce if you put your attention, because at the end of the day, the skill set that you want to have as a person is the skill set of mastery. That's my viewpoint anyways. And what mastery is simply the willingness to put your attention in one area consistently over time. By the way, feel free to take pictures of me on your phone here with your mobile phone and screenshot them and post them on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and tag me at Ezra Firestone, hashtag Smart Marketer, hashtag Facebook ads. I would love to get those pictures tagged on there. I'm here. So things are growing. It's a great time. If you put your attention consistently in one place over time, you will get better at whatever it is you're putting your attention on. So if you pick up the instrument for 30 minutes a day, you'll get better at the instrument. If you put your attention on growing your business for an hour, 2 hours a day, whatever you have, the business will grow. And if you're the kind of person who's interested in location independence and having some form of online business or growing an online business, you just got to keep at it, because the trend is that it's going up, man. It's going to continue to go up, which is very exciting. Now, it's really all about timing. This is a picture of me, actually, right around the time I moved to New York, right around the time that I was getting started in e-commerce. That little curl that you see right there was not an accident. I thought I was pretty cool. I made that happen. I used to be called Johnny. How you doing? I used to play poker for a living, for a couple of years anyways. I played in these underground poker clubs, and I got invited to games that were run by some, semi-nefarious people, Vinny the Limo, Sonny Franchise, Frankie Bananas, Jimmy Forget About It, all these guys, right? Tony Pizza. and they called me, Johnny, how you doing? And this particular game that I got invited to, I could not win at for the life of me. And so I was pretty good. I was winning at a lot of games, but this one game was a bit higher stakes, and I wasn't winning at it. And I read this book by a guy called Barry Greenstein, and what he said to do was show up at the game like 2 or 3 hours before it ends, after everyone's had a chance to lose some money and kind of get loose, and then you're fresh, you're ready to go, and you can do well. And so I started showing up to this game at around midnight, and I started doing really well because everyone else was kind of, had a few drinks, were a little loose. I had been, like, took a nap from 6 to 8, so it was the right time for me to be playing at that poker game, and that's why I won. I wasn't good enough to beat these guys. I had to wait till they'd had a few drinks, and had a chance to get loose and not pay as much attention as they do at the beginning of the game. And it's the right time for you to be paying attention to e-commerce right now. And I see that Mav just tagged me on Twitter. I met her at the conference recently. Awesome person. Okay, so the top 10 e-commerce, and this is not just America. I mean, look, China is the #1 country for e-commerce. And you know how I told you that 8.4% of our population, or 8.4% of all transactions that happen in America, are happening online? In China, it's only 2%, and they're the #1 country. And then there's us in the United States, or many of you are not in the United States. I shouldn't assume that. Then the United Kingdom, Japan, Germany, France, South Korea, Canada, Brazil, and Australia. So it's globalizing. Commerce is globalizing. The ability to be a merchant and retail to someone in another, developed nation is coming. So not just growth in whatever nation you're in, but growth across the world for e-commerce. It's really cool. And with a platform like Facebook, we can actually target people in other countries. One of our big strategies for 2016 is moving into Europe, into Canada, into Japan, and doing some advertising over there. So you'll be able to see that from us if you hang out with us and are on our email list. Now, so we know it's a good time to be in e-commerce. That was my main point there. It's like, it's a really good time to be doing this. You are of a very unique group of people that has instant access to the rest of the world that has never existed before. And the digital medium, the internet, has made that possible for us, which is really cool. So how do we best take advantage of it? How do we best take advantage of this opportunity that is continuing to grow, that's right in front of us? Well, I think in order to best take advantage of it, and in order to explain the strategy that has allowed me to grow one company of mine by nearly 6x in a year, and my overall portfolio of companies by 3x, from 7 million to 22 million, I'd like to kind of give you some statistics and show you sort of how people are consuming the digital medium, because how they're consuming is what we sort of were able to pinpoint, and that is what sort of gave us this strategy, or fed had us discover this strategy. So the future of e-commerce, what's happened is that touch has taken over. So basically, it used to be that people sat down at desktop and laptop computers like this, and they typed, and they were spending a lot of time at one period of time on on the internet, on the digital medium. And then we got laptops, and we were able to carry those around. And then we got mobile phones, and touch-based consumption, touch-based engagement of the internet, where you're actually touching and scrolling and carrying this thing around with you, has already eclipsed traditional desktop and laptop communication. And what else has happened is that people are consuming the digital medium, consuming the internet in shorter and shorter periods of time, because it's with them all day long, right? It's with them all day, and they're using it on the toilet. They are using it in the line for the bank. And so the way that people are consuming has gone from long windows to really short windows, and that will feed right into the strategy. So I really need to give you some statistics. So let me give you some statistics to set the bar here, to set the stage for the strategy we're going to be discussing. Now, 33% of people who showed interest on a mobile ad converted on a desktop, meaning people are moving from small devices to big devices to make purchases. 33% of people who engage with a brand on mobile, 1/3 of them then move to a bigger device to convert or finish that sales process. More than 60% of adults in the United States have two devices, iPhone, laptop. And 1/4 of those people have three: iPhone, laptop, iPad. I mean, I know I have like four. I got an iPad over here, I got an iPhone here, I got a desktop computer, I got a couple laptops. So a lot of people have multiple devices. They're using multiple devices in a sales process. And what's happening is people are moving to bigger devices to make purchases. The purchase experience, the engagement with a brand is starting on mobile and moving to tablet and desktop. And that's very important as we get into the overall strategy. I'll explain what I mean by that. And the mobile world, understanding that the mobile world itself, by the way, a lot of people are tagging me, which is cool. The mobile world comes with fragmentation. The average person consumes from 194 different channels, meaning they've got Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Pinterest and iTunes and Google and Gmail. And so there's all these different channels that they're consuming from. And 50% are multi-screening while they're watching TV. They're watching TV and they're on their phone at the same time. So the game is changing. The game is changing with regard to how people are consuming the internet. And this is going somewhere. 67% of people start shopping on one device and continue on another. 67% of all buyers start on one device and continue on another. 2/3 of people are starting a purchase process on one device and finishing on another. I'm going to show you how to leverage that data point to your advantage. Video consumption is growing and it's driven by mobile, so people are consuming more and more video. Facebook and Instagram, I said it was 194 different channels. Well, Facebook and Instagram account for more time spent on mobile than the next 10 platforms combined. So that's really where people are hanging out. And 1 in 5 minutes that people are spending on mobile devices in the United States are on Facebook and Instagram. And 4 out of every 5 Americans, 4 out of every 5 people carry a smartphone with them every day. So those are the statistics. What does that actually mean to you as a marketer? What does that mean to you as someone who's interested in creating sales processes online and engaging people in conversations online to amplify a brand and spread a message and build a community? Well, what it means is that, and the big idea here is that you're going to need multiple touch points before you get a conversion. It's no longer, sit down, look at this thing, buy it. It's now see a brand's video, consume a little bit of it, then see a product they have, check that out. So there's multiple touch points. So I call this multi-touch point marketing. And this is really what's allowed us to scale. And I'm going to show you exactly how to implement this and exactly our whole sales process, how we are running ads online in this multi-touch point reality that we're living in. So the idea, and by the way, check these flames out. Let's go back for a second. Look at my designer. Bam! Because this is the big point, multi-touch point marketing. We got flames going on. So the idea of the single campaign is dead. It's no longer, we used to look at it like we'd run a campaign and it would either work or it wouldn't. That way of thinking is gone. That is no longer how you look at a business. You now look at your business in aggregate, all your campaigns together, and each campaign is at a specific touch point, as you will see when I break down the funnel for you. So when it comes to advertising, because again, this training is about advertising. Believe it or not, I'm going to get to how to advertise with video. But, in order to understand how to advertise with video, you have to understand all this other stuff. And when it comes to advertising in general, I get the opportunity to relate with and communicate with and teach and be a part of thousands of business owners and businesses on a yearly basis. And in general, what I see is that people quit too early. They're like, oh, that didn't work. I gave it a month. You got to give it a little longer than that. And, when you look at all big businesses, when you look at what they have in common, it's that they buy advertising to grow their business. They amplify their business through advertising. Every big business who's doing 7 figures, 8 figures plus is leveraging advertising on some kind of a mass scale. So if you look at your best sort of, the best thing you can do for your business is learn how to advertise effectively and learn how to advertise properly. And it's one of those skill sets that if you invest in, you get better at over time. Now, let's talk for a minute about how e-commerce brands make it, because what we do is e-commerce. If you're a part of my community, probably what you do is some kind of e-commerce. And let's kind of break down a little bit how people are making it. Well, in general, firstly, they've got something good to sell, something that people actually want. So if you've got some crap, if you've got if your product is not good, if it doesn't have integrity, I would like you to leave this webinar. I don't want you to use my strategies. I only want you to use my strategies if you've got something good. And you know you've got something good because you feel good about it. If you don't feel, if you're kind of like, you feel like something's off, then something's probably off. You got to listen to that. So in general, people who do well have something good to sell, something that people actually want, something that people get and they like, that makes a difference to them, that engages them in some kind of a conversation, solves a problem for them, something. Secondly, they usually have at least one visibility source that is consistent. So some way of people finding out about their brand. That's generally what people have. Now, in general, there are some non-scalable types of visibility that you can get. Now, there's traditional press where you get written up in a magazine, or you happen to be on a morning show, or you get some kind of blogger who writes an article about you, who's got a big following. We get a lot of press in traditional PR. It's not really scalable. It's not really controllable. It's good when you can get it, but it's not really where you should put your eggs. You shouldn't put your eggs in that basket because it's kind of tough to make that work. I've paid PR people, $6,000 to $10,000 a month for years to get press because we have a little bit more money. We're willing to invest in that just for the brand ethos, but it doesn't really make any money. But you can get good visibility that way. Then there's search engine optimization. A lot of people get a lot of organic traffic, especially a lot of e-commerce businesses. When I was coming up in the game, search engine optimization was really the way that you made it. You optimized to try to have your website or your landing page, your product offer pages be the most relevant for particular queries on Google. And again, not controllable, not really scalable, hard to measure. So I wouldn't really recommend putting all your eggs in that basket. Then there's influencer endorsements, which are a great visibility source, probably the best type of traffic you can get for your brand. If you're going to get visibility for an offer that you have for someone, absolutely by far and away, having some person who has a relationship with a group of people say, check this thing out, it is awesome. So some influencer who's got a community of people that follow them who's saying this thing is awesome is probably the best type of traffic you can get. Again, hard to get, not really scalable, tough to know if it's going to work. So to have consistency and scalability, which is what I like for my brands, I want to be able to consistently drive visibility, and I want to be able to scale the visibility that I see is working. So if that's going to be the way that you're going to build your brand, then you've got to be able to turn advertising into profit. That's what you got to be able to do. And so the old advertising where I came from was query based, where people were typing in a query, best electric smoker, and then that thing would pop up on Google. They would click over to it and they'd be like, oh, sweet, I want to buy this thing. So it was, search based, search intent, query intent. People were searching for stuff. Now it's really easy to sell something to someone if they are searching for it, because you know what they typed in, you advertise. The problem these days, where we are today, is that query-based traffic is really, really, really expensive. Like to buy Google AdWords search traffic is like $1 a click in most markets. It's going to be hard to make that work. While new advertising is contextual. And what I mean by that is basically you're advertising to people based on context, what you know about them. You know how old they are. You know where they live. You know what they're interested in. You know what they bought in the past. And we always had contextual advertising. Google had contextual advertising back in the day, but the problem was you only had one data point on people. So you had one data point, and that data point was like they were visiting a website about cats. You could show them a website about cats. Well, now we have what's called multi-data point contextual advertising, meaning we've got thousands of data points. We can put those data points together, demographic data points, geographic data points, interests, behaviors, and we can say we want to build a group of people based on context who we want to target with an ad. So that's kind of new school advertising, right? New school advertising is you're targeting a group of people based on some context you have on them. Well, when you're doing that, since they weren't searching for a product, you kind of have to tell a bit more of a story, have a bit more of a sales funnel, which is what I'm going to be talking to you about in this training right now. So the frame that I'd like you to take for your business is that your core platform and any sales funnel that you create is simply a collection of conversion assets working in concert with one another to achieve your ultimate goal, which is to get someone to do business with you. So what do I mean by that? Well, your core platform is like your website, right? And your sales funnel is the sequence of pages or the sequence of engagements that someone has to go through in order to buy from you. So all of that stuff together is just a collection of what I call conversion assets that work in concert together. So your advertisement, the copy on your landing page, the video on your product detail page, any emails you have, all the stuff that makes up a process of a prospect to customer journey is a conversion asset, and they all work together. So there's really kind of 3 stages to the prospect to customer journey. Stage 1 is before. They don't know about you yet. You're going out and getting their attention. You're telling them about you before they even heard of you. Then there's during. There's like while they are in the process of becoming a customer. And then there's after they've already bought from you. And these 3 stages, if you really understand them, you'll be able to grow your business significantly using the strategy I'm about to lay out for you. And that's kind of what we figured out, was how to leverage advertising and marketing at each stage properly. So the assets that you have in as far as your advertisements, I'm going to show you what they all are, your landing pages, everything like that, work together at each stage of the journey, before, during, and after, to support you in what you want, which is conversions. You want people to buy from you, and your customers in what they want, which is a solution to their problem, which is whatever problem your product solves. Now, the big shift is that a big shift for advertising is that understanding that as of now, all ad campaigns should be looked at in phases. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. There's no longer one ad campaign. So our approach are within 3 pillars. All of our advertising happens in 3 pillars. And this is how we segment our audiences. So the first pillar is awareness and acquisition, before stage. Whew, I'm getting excited about this stuff. The second pillar is retargeting, right? So it's like, now they know about you, the during stage. And the third pillar is loyalty, the after stage. So awareness is when you're getting your brand in front of people who don't know who you are yet. So you're excluding customers, you're excluding subscribers, and you're targeting people who look the most like your customers and subscribers in a first attempt to generate sales and leads. Then in retargeting, what you're doing is you're retargeting people who've shown interest in your brand. And we're tracking funnel engagement and communicating based on consumption. And that's going to make a lot of sense as we continue. We are tracking the engagement of each individual user through our sales process, and we're communicating with that individual user based on what they did or didn't consume. And I'm going to show you the whole sales process in a moment. It'll make sense. And then loyalty is where you're using special deals and promotions and complementary products to increase your customer retention and lifetime customer value. So we kind of look at it in these 3 phases: acquisition, retargeting, and loyalty. Those are our 3 phases of advertising. Now, retargeting and loyalty, the second and third phase, is where the bulk of your conversions will happen. That is the second and third and beyond touch point. I said multi-touch point marketing, right? So that's the second time. Like, let's say, for example, you have an awareness and acquisition advertisement that's designed to get people to know about you, and people click on it, they make it to your website, or they consume a little bit of a video, and you'll see this actually in action and shortly. But then they don't buy. Now you're re-engaging them. Second touch point. You're re-engaging them again. Third touch point. They bought from you. Fourth touch point. So the bulk of your conversions are happening, because of the way that people are consuming. They're consuming a little bit, and then they're leaving, and then they need to be reminded, right? Because the way that people are consuming the digital medium is in little short snippets. So you need to be aware of that and set up your process so that you're there for all those short little snippets, so that you can make a sale when you have that opportunity. And so, because most of your conversions and most of your sales are going to happen on that second and third touch point, that begs the question: what is the absolute best top of funnel awareness and acquisition conversion asset? If our whole process is a collection of conversion assets, and we know that most of our sales are coming at the second and third and fourth touch point and beyond, then that begs the question: what is the best top line asset to leverage to get most people into our funnel or sales process in order to generate all those conversions? Well, there's just absolutely no question in my mind that it is a native video advertisement, a video that plays inside of the social feed where a user can consume and have FaceTime and engagement with your brand without ever leaving the social media platform. And so, to that end, I would like to show you what we figured out about video ads, because we've been really focusing on them because we started to understand this multi-touch point marketing thing in the middle of 2015. And that's what took us to a couple $1 million. And then we really dialed it in the first 6 months of 2016. And then we figured out video ads, and boom, we just exploded. And so, so I can only show you the stats as of August 25th. So starting back in August, so September, October, November, December. So 4 months. These are our last 4 months of video ads, because Facebook changed the way that they do reporting. We've been running video ads since May. We started going really heavy on video advertising on May 8th. That was our first month that we started. But Facebook changed the way they're doing reporting so that it's more accurate as of August 25th. So you can see here it says that video percentage watched is available as of August 25th. So this is a report from August 25th. So what you can see is that we spent $880,000 since August 25th on video ads. So in 4 months, we spent, on average, $220,000 a month on video ads, which is not everything we spent. We spent more than that in those months, but this is just the video ad spend. And we generated 13,135,717 3-second views. Now, so according to Facebook, 880 grand, 13 million views, that's 6 cents to get someone to view our video. Well, I don't believe those metrics. I think 3 seconds is shenanigans. It's baloney. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not real. I'm calling that. I'm calling Facebook on that. Those are inflated numbers. If someone watches 3 seconds of your video, that's not, they didn't view it. If you see 3 seconds of something, you're not viewing that. So I don't believe those numbers. So the way that I like to do this, and the way that I like to look at this, is you can see here that we actually only had 1 million people in that time frame, 1,108,000, make it to 25% of the way through our video. So those people who made it all the way to 25%, now our videos are 6 minutes long, 7 minutes long. So if you made it through 25%, you consumed, minutes of face time with my brand. You really kind of got to know who we were. You saw some of our story. That's what I would count as a view. So you do the math there. I'm spending 80 cents to get someone to consume several minutes of face time with my brand, and I will make that trade all day long, because I'm going to show you, if you tell a good story, it's very profitable. If you can spend, and by the way, my market is more expensive than most. Most people who are in my training program and are my students are spending 20 cents, 30 cents, 15 cents to get people to consume a minute or two of their video. My numbers are very high because I am spending such a large amount of money, and I am broadcasting my message to so many people that it's just like I've hit a saturation point. But in any case, so I think that's a really good deal. I think it's the best deal you can make when it comes to advertising. So why video? Why video in general? Well, 100 million hours of video per day are watched on Facebook. 100 million hours a day. 79% of all consumer internet traffic will come from video by 2018. Social video generates 1,200% more shares than text and image combined. So when people are consuming your video, they're sharing it with friends, they're clicking on it, they're liking it, and so it gets a lot more engagement because it's more engaging. And a video advertisement has an average click-through rate of someone clicking on the ad unit over to whatever the offer page is of 1.84%, which is the highest click-through rate of all digital ad formats. And 96% of consumers who are purchasing stuff say that they find videos helpful when making purchase decisions, and 4 times as many consumers would rather watch a video about a product than read about it. So videos are the perfect top of funnel conversion asset, because you are meeting people where they are. People are on these phones. They don't want to leave them. They're consuming in short snippets of time. You're able to get in there, have them on the social network, engage with you. Some of them are going to click through, but the ones who don't, you're going to track and follow up with, as I will show you. So let's talk about how to look at an advertising campaign, right? Like, how are we looking at it? Well, we discussed that we're looking at the advertising campaign in 3 phases: acquisition, awareness and acquisition, retargeting, and loyalty, right? Well, my sales funnel, the sales funnel that I use for my business, is I have a native video ad, okay? And that native video ad that's inside of Facebook, native meaning it's just in the feed, you know what I mean? It's not like popping up out at them. It's just as they're scrolling through their feed on Facebook or Instagram, I got my video. I lead people to a pre-sale engagement article that they then have to consume even more content. So I go from video content in Facebook to article content to collection page for my brand to product offer page to checkout. So this is kind of what it looks like. Video advertisement, pre-sale engagement page, store page, product offer page, shopping cart, checkout. I then have a post-purchase one-click upsell sequence to try to increase my average order value, and then I take people to a thank you page. Now, if you look a little bit deeper at that, we have a video advertisement. And don't worry, this is it's kind of a lot, but I'm gonna dig into it for you. So we have the video ad. Now, if you watch 50% of that video, and by the way, don't worry if your sales funnel does not have to be this complicated. I'm going to show you the most common e-commerce sales funnel out there that I see. So if someone watches 50% or 25%, so if they watch 25 or 50% of my video advertisement, and they don't click off of Facebook, right? I retarget them with an advertisement that's designed to get them to go to my article page. If someone watches 75 or 95% of my native video ad on Facebook and they don't leave, that means they consumed 4 to 6 minutes of content about my brand. I'm sending those people directly to the offer. I'm not going to a piece of content at that point. I'm just like, hey, you saw 4 to 6 minutes about my brand. Check out the products we have. So I point those people right to my store page. Now, if you make it to the pre-sale engagement page and you don't get any further, I retarget you with content that takes you back to the pre-sale engagement page. So I retarget you back to another piece of content because at that point, you haven't showed any interest in the products. You made it to the article. You didn't like it enough to click through over to the products. It means I need to re-engage you in more of a conversation before I try to sell to you. Now, and I retarget those folks back to the product, or I might use a video ad on that segment, as you'll see. Now, if you make it to my store page and you don't go any further, I then retarget you back to the store page, getting folks to go back to the store page. If you make it to the product offer page or the shopping cart, I use dynamic product advertising, as I'm going to show you. So if you made it and you actually saw a product offer, like you were interested enough to look at one of my products, I'm going to retarget you very heavily and try to get you to come back. And then if you make it to the upsell and checkout sequence, you'll see that I do some cool stuff. So what I do is at the top of my funnel, I use interest groups. I use lookalike audiences for awareness and acquisition, right? People who look the most like my customers, people who look the most like my subscribers, new interest groups, and I target them with a video ad. Now, if you consume 50% or 75 and 95% of my video, I'm going to target you either with a piece of content or with a direct link back to the store. And these are image ads at this point, right? So I'm targeting you based on consumption, right? You watched 50% of my video, you left. You then will see an ad, because multi-touch point. The next time you're online on Facebook or Instagram, you'll see an image ad that says, hey, remember this article, or hey, remember these products, based on how much you consumed of that video. I'm tracking your consumption of that video, and this is going to get crazy in a second. So then, if you make it to the pre-sale engagement page, and you don't make it any further, I retarget you again with an image ad. So now I'm using images. I'm using video as the top line. This is now the retargeting pillar. So what you can see here, if I go back, this is the awareness and acquisition pillar. This is retargeting pillar. This is retargeting pillar. This is retargeting pillar. This is what is happening in the retargeting pillar, right? So if you make it to the, and I'm using image ads in my retargeting pillar really heavily. You could use videos. I just don't have the capacity to create a lot more videos, as you'll see in a moment, because the videos that we do are pretty cool. So image ads work really well in the retargeting pillar. So again, we're retargeting people based on what they consumed. So you make it to the store page, you don't buy, I'm going to retarget you with an image ad, sending you back to the store page. About retargeting and the retargeting pillar, this is a good tip. Two really kind of tips I wasn't going to include, but I'm going to include anyways, is the shorter the retargeting window, the more effective. So if Facebook is going to set those audiences, if you're like, hey, create a group of people who viewed my store page but didn't buy, Facebook is going to set that to 30 days. They're going to set that to 30 days. Well, if you set that to 7 days, it's going to work way better, because someone who visited your store but didn't buy in the last 7 days is way hotter than someone who visited your store and didn't buy in the last 30 days. So if you're on a budget, make your retargeting windows, your time frames, really short. The shorter, the more effective, because the more recently that they engaged, the more hot they are. Now, so I would recommend, if you're just starting out, 10-day retargeting windows, no longer than 10-day, because that's going to be way more profitable. Okay, so if you, and then the second little tip is, we know that people start on mobile phones and then they move to tablet and desktop to make purchases. Run your awareness ad here, your awareness and acquisition ad. If you're on a budget, this is only if you're on a budget, have this be only on mobile phones, okay? So have your video, your top line awareness and acquisition only be on mobile. And then all these different little segments of retargeting only target people on desktop and iPad. So you're mirroring user behavior. Now, you're not going to have as much scale as you could potentially have. You're not going to be able to spend the kind of money I'm spending, but if you're on a budget and you want to be as profitable as possible, mirror the user behavior. That is a wicked smart tip, and it works really well. So you run your awareness on mobile, and then you run your retargeting on desktop and iPad. It will literally, I mean, it's incredible. Okay, so if you make it to the product offer page or the shopping cart, I am retargeting you with what are called dynamic product ads, meaning you're going to see an ad based on the actual product that you saw, and they work really well. Then you go through my checkout sequence. You actually purchase. I try to offer you an upsell using my post-purchase one-click upsell application that I built for Shopify. And then after you buy, now we're in the loyalty pillar now. So we've made it from awareness and acquisition through the retargeting pillar all the way over to the loyalty pillar now. So I'm saying, hey, bought X but didn't buy Y. I'm running ads to you. Different segments of buyers. I'm running ads to you. People who are subscribed. I'm amplifying content. So I'm doing a lot in the loyalty pillar. And a little kind of sweet little tip here that's not actually in these slides. Another one for you is in the loyalty pillar. If you buy my number one product, which is my Trio, which you can see in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, and you don't buy my number two product, which is my moisturizer, you're going to see a video ad for my moisturizer, which is actually the video advertisement unit that you see under the bot, right next to the bot X and not Y circle on the right-hand corner of your screen. So that you're going to see that video. Now, if you watch 50% of that video and don't buy, image ad for that product that links to that product page. So I'm using that same logic, but in the loyalty pillar. I run a video ad to people who already bought one thing but not another for the thing they didn't buy. And then if they consume 50% of that, they see an image ad for the product that they didn't yet buy because they watched 50% of the video about the product, about another product that I have, and they didn't buy it. And that is my most profitable. I don't spend a lot of money there. I might spend, but I'll make like $7,000. So all these little things compound. And if you didn't understand that, go back and watch this. I'll have a replay up for a day or two. Okay. One thing to remember is that this is really just the ad side of our business. Keep in mind that all of our other conversion assets are still at play. Our landing pages, our product offer pages, our one-click upsells, our email sequences. So all the stuff that you use to your website and your brand be as effective as possible are still at play. But when you understand how to approach advertising from a consumption pillar-based frame, you're way more effective. And that's what we figured out. And so you don't need the pre-sale engagement page or the store page. Most sales funnels that I see look like this: video ad, page, right to the shopping cart. That is like what 99% of people do. And if you are in the position of not wanting to do all this crazy stuff of having a pre-sale engagement page or a collection page, you don't want to have that long of a sales funnel. Now, the reason I like a longer sales funnel like that, a longer buyer process, is because that gives me more touch points to re-engage with people at. So if I have an article and then I have a collection page and then I have a store page, then I have a product offer page, little segments, funnel event segments that I can use to retarget people. But this is the most common one. And this works really well. And you can do this for your brand. Like these guys, and I saw this video ad and it led directly to a long form offer page, and I bought it because if you got a dude with a beard and you shave nasty, then your wife gets pissed off. So I saw this thing and I was like, that is genius, because I spend like 20 minutes cleaning out the sink every time I shave because I don't want this is an electric skateboard I bought. It was a video of basically what it does is it's like a battery pack on any skateboard to turn it electric. And so the video was literally just images scrolling like that. I don't know if that's the sound it made, but of different skateboards with the same battery pack led to a Kickstart page. Kickstarter page. These guys had this little thing that you can connect onto your cell phone and make it like you're flying around, and then it led to a long form sales page. So video that demonstrated ownership benefit, right to long form sales page. These guys kind of sell this fun clothing, and they showed like how cool you could be right to their home page, which is literally just kind of like a product offer page. This is more of what I'm doing. These guys had this flashlight, or these gals for that matter. I don't know if it's men or women, but they had this flashlight and they had this video ad being like, this flashlight's amazing. You could run it over. It's super bright. And then they went to an article page, and that article page was talking more about the benefits of the flashlight. And then they went to a product offer page. And this was kind of cool. This guy has this thing where you clip it onto your bike, and then it remembers where it goes, and so you can track it via GPS. So he's like, all right, check this out. I'm going to clip this thing onto this bike, and then I'm going to stolen. I'm going to go, this is all the video ads. So he like lets the bike get stolen. He goes like confronts this person, gets his bike back. It was really funny. Ad page, and then they had some kind of pre-purchase upsell bumps, cross-sell bumps to try to get you to buy more. This was a toothbrush ad. They're trying to sell you subscription. These people sell you a little, box that you get at your house that brings you like fresh food. So my point is that you don't need all this madness, right? You can do more of a simple sales funnel and still leverage the benefit. Now you could go as far as I'm doing here and do all this stuff. And here you go. In this graphic, you can see the and then they see an image for the look corner of your screen. You can see what I was talking about previously, where if you make it to the loyalty pillar, I show you a video about a product you didn't buy yet, you consume 50% of that video. I then show you an image ad for that product because you still haven't bought it yet. Super profitable. So kind of how I'm doing things with multiple steps, video ad to article to store page to product offer page. But most video ad funnels look like this, and you can still leverage this concept of multi-funnel, multi-touch point marketing, this ability to engage with people where they are, engage with people based on their consumption, sales funnel or sales process, where you're going right to a product offer page. So what should be in your video? What should you actually put in your video? Well, what it has to do is demonstrate ownership benefit. That's the main thing. It's got to demonstrate the ownership benefit of the product. Watches your video and then they don't know is of ownership. It's not going to. Another thing that you can put in there is customer testimonials. I love to do this, and I'm going to show you my actual formula in a second. So where they're kind of doing a demo of your product, kind of like the one I showed you for the bushy eyebrows thing, where it's a lady and she's doing a demo of the product. That's a great thing to put in your video. So, and don't worry, I'm going to give you one of my video formulas in a moment here. But the next question I get is like, how long should my video ad be? Well, I'm a big long videos, and I'm in a minute, because some people will watch like 6 minutes of content on your brand. So why not give them the 30 seconds minimum, kind of showing off the product, showing what's in it, that kind of thing. 30 seconds minimum, 6 to 8 minutes maximum, should be. So, matter is the next big question I get. Important is quality. I'm going to take a sip of my kombucha here. Turmeric. Been going for a good solid hour now. How important is quality? Well, right? And then, so yes, quality, the higher the production value, the more effective. The most important thing when it comes to quality is I'm going to use music find that two good sentences with a link, really one sentence and then a link, works the best for us as far as our test. Now, your video outline, you should start with like an eye-catching opener, something that gets people's attention, a demo, news really demonstrates the ownership benefit, whatever it is, something that gets their attention to start. Then you go into a compelling story related to the problem that your product solves. So, the story could be about, like I saw one recently of this pouch, and the pouch sits in between your car seat and the middle of your car, so when you drop stuff down there, it doesn't fall away. And it was someone dropping something like their phone, like we all do, and it being lost, and it got my attention. So, and then it went into the story, kind of visual story of the benefit of this product, and kind of how it solved the problem. Then you do a demonstration of the product. Must have a demonstration of the product in the video, of every way the product is used, how it's cool, how it's beneficial, showing the product in use, opening the product, all that stuff. And then you want to have a customer testimonial at the end of the video. And I usually do 2 customer testimonials. I try to figure out who my graphic is, people that fit that model. And I actually incentivize people who buy from me to give me a testimonial by offering them a gift card. So I say, hey, thanks for purchasing from me. I'll give you a $25 gift card to my store if you shoot a video, selfie videos. People can't get enough. They just want to shoot them, If you shoot a video for me, showing me my product and talking about why you love it and mentioning my store name, email it to me, and then I'll email you a $25 gift certificate. So I'm incentivizing people to give me a video review that I then use in my ads. And then option overlay, that's kind of nice, where it's like, hey, turn on your speakers or whatever. That works too. So basically, my apologies. One thing that you want to remember is, and that's kind of what they look like here, by the way, just sort of what the ads look like. Now, do not put an outro on your video. A lot of people put these animated outros, but the thing is, when your video ends, Facebook pops and it says click here. So if your video ends and then there's like some outro, the call to action doesn't pop up. And I see this all the time, and you're missing out on click-through rate. People clicking through to the offer because now they're seeing an outro and they get bored. So make sure that your video just boom ends, and that way the call to action pops right up when the video ad is over. If you can make people laugh and also demonstrate a solution to a problem they face, that is gold. These guys over here at gals over at Poo-Pourri, they did this really funny video of like this girl, and she was really proper, and she was like taking a poo, and she's like, it's like really funny. And then I guess you like after you poop and it makes it smell better. It's like for the dating market. I don't know. But the point is that it was hilarious, went directly to a long form offer page, crushed it. So any kind of humor that you can include really works well. And these guys at Dollar Shave Club did the same thing. So eye-catching opener, compelling story, product demonstration, customer testimonial. Now, ideally, you'll have more than one video, but with just one, and then as you get some experience, get some experience doing it, you can create some more. And it's better if you've got more than one video, because then you can kind of test out different angles and things like that. So that is like the bulk of what I came here to tell you. Now, you could go out and do all this stuff yourself. And you could use what I just gave you. You can absolutely use that to grow your business. That is like good stuff. I've put people through this training without the technical and tactical setup of it, without a full in-depth training, just what I told you here, and had people come back and say, man, I tripled my business with what you just told me. So that you can use that. You could do it all yourself, and you could try to get kind of similar results to what I'm getting. Go through my course like Scott did. Scott was super annoyed when he's actually in my Blue Ribbon Mastermind. He went through my course on video ads, and he was like, dude, my